What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're going to be jumping into the next one on our Netherlands journey. I'm assuming we don't need German subtitles, so oh, they're built in. Very well. We got German subtitles built in for the Germans. That's definitely German. It is
Groningen.
it's walkable city in the world. Yes, no, maybe so. Let's jump in. Let's find out together. This one is coming at us from Leo. Much love, Leo. I do appreciate the support. I do appreciate the recommendation. If you guys enjoy it, go over and show Cities for People some love. We're gonna go ahead and subscribe. Let's see what we got. Let's roll.
Groningen is a city of some 200,000 people in the Netherlands. When I first visited the place in 2018, it blew me away. I was certain that we could improve our cities everywhere if we could just get people to spend a weekend here.
I've been saying that since we learned that the Netherlands took their city, took their land back from Poseidon,
and made a video of it for you. You see, Groningen was a forerunner in making its city center car-free and people-friendly. Today, the place is amazingly lively, with lots of nightlife. This footage was shot, by the way, during the pandemic. And even though it wasn't very warm, there were lots of people on the streets and at restaurants and cafes.
Hold on, just about that, guys. The internet was being kind of weird, but we are back. Let's get back into it. Honestly, any kind of place that has a bustling, like, nightlife or any type of just social atmosphere is a place to be.
There were lots of people on the streets and at restaurants and cafes. So in this video, I want to show you what even a mid-sized town can look like. Walkability is not just for big cities. To learn more, I met up with this guy, Benny Lamehouse. Benny Lamehouse in my ears and in my eyes.
Also, ich bin Benny Lamehouse.
I was not expecting the Benny Lamehouse song. Where did that come from?
Ich bin nun 49 Jahre alt. Ich wohne fast mein ganzes Leben hier in Groningen. Bin hier geboren. Und ich bin seit 2010 Mitglied der Gemeinderat. Und meine spezielle Aufgabe im Rat ist Mobilität.
Benny was kind enough to walk through town with me so that you, dear viewer, could see the main highlights. It turns out that Groningen may have invented the idea of superblocks in 1977. Let's take a look at a map of Groningen. The blue ring is where cars can drive around the center, which is divided into these 4 sectors, or superblocks. Cars can reach any building in any sector, but not cross from one sector into the other. So there is no through traffic.
So we can drive all the way around the outside, and we can drive into each sector. Then you got to drive back out the way you came to drive to another sector. Is that what I just heard? If I heard correctly? How do you keep them from doing through traffic anyway? In America, we have not through traffic signs all the time, but people still use it as through traffic. Is it just, do they got a wall or something?
In his presentations, Benny shows how a cyclist or pedestrian can thus reach a building directly, shown here in green, but a car has to take this route, shown in yellow. Benny's main message is that Groningen hasn't always been people-centric. The Dutch had to fight for it.
Die Stadt Groningen ist, anders als viele Leute manchmal denken, auch eine Stadt gewesen bis in die 70er Jahren, wo viele Autos hier auch in der Innenstadt gefahren sind.
In dieser Straße hinter dir hätte man Autos gesehen?
Ja, sicher. Hier gab es Spuren, Asphalt und ich könnte ein paar Fotos zeigen.
Okay, yeah.
Or we could just look at the photos in his presentations online. Benny shows photos like these, with cars covering the entire city center, like here on the fish market, which looks like this today. Yes, it's an actual market. And yet, Groningen has exactly the same history as other cities when it comes to trams. This is a video from 100 years ago. Now, Groningen only has buses. All the tram lines were torn out after World War II to make space for cars.
Wow.
And as elsewhere, shop owners in Groningen initially thought their customers came by car, so many of them initially opposed plans to make the city center car-free. But gradually, they realized that more people can fit into these streets than cars can. And cars don't actually do the shopping, people do.
Das war ein bisschen traumatisch für diese Unternehmer. Die haben wirklich gestritten dagegen.
Sind die pleite gegangen?
Ich würde sagen, jetzt ist hier eine ruhige Straße, aber wir haben die Stadt gesehen, es ist voller Menschen. Viele
Diese
Läden.
Straße ist ruhig?
Diese Straße ist ruhig, ja. Die ist sicher ruhig. Die Läden sind nicht pleite gegangen.
Calm. I can only imagine how packed it must have been if this is calm.
Die Stadt ist interessanter geworden. Leute gehen gerne in die Stadt, weil sie laufen können, weil sie fahren können mit dem Fahrrad. Und das Auto kann man in Parkhäusern parken, kann man außerhalb der Stadt bei Park and Rides parken.
Park and ride. Parking and riding only costs €6 for up to 5 people, including the bus fare. Far cheaper than parking inside the ring.
In der Innenstadt ist 60% der Verkehrsmittel ist Fahrrad, mehr als 60%. Außerhalb der Stadt ist das Auto für mehr als 60% das Verkehrsmittel, das am meisten gebraucht wird. Und da haben wir ein Problem. Wir sind eine mittelalterliche Stadt mit wenig Platz und mit vielen Fahrrädern in der Innenstadt. Da mussten wir also rund um die Stadt haben wir ziemlich progressiv und schnell viele also Park and Rides gemacht. Also
Okay.
wo die Leute mit ihrem Auto nach Groningen kommen, dort können sie umsteigen auf ein Fahrrad, die man leihen kann oder dort hinstellen kann, aber natürlich auch unsere Busse, die sehr zuverlässig sind.
Benny says the shop owners are now happy that people come by bike rather than by car. In fact, one of the steps the city took to slow down the pandemic was that people could no longer park their bikes everywhere in the center of town. Benny says that didn't go over well with shop owners.
Und es gab Unternehmen, die protestiert haben. Die haben gesagt, wir brauchen die Fahrräder, die Fahrradfahrer in unsere Straße, weil alle unsere Kunden kommen ja mit dem Fahrrad. Und von dem her ist es also total geändert, als wie das in den 70er Jahren waren, als die Unternehmen davon überzeugt waren, dass die Leute ihre Kunden mit dem Auto gekommen sind. Das ist also nicht mehr so.
Let's talk about bike parking for a minute. Groningen is full of bikes, and I can understand people saying that this is too much. But Benny has a clear opinion on this.
Gesegnet ist eine Stadt mit einem Fahrradparkproblem, weil wenn all diese Leute ja mit dem Auto gekommen wären, dann wäre es noch ein größeres Verkehrsinfarkt.
But the city is taking action here as well. One small thing is visible behind him already, the red carpet.
Also was wir hier sehen, ist ein roter Teppich und auf diesem roten Teppich parken Leute ihren Fahrrad nicht. Also wenn es hier viele Leute gibt, am Samstag zum Beispiel, gibt es viele Leute hier in dieser Straße und dann parken die ihr Fahrrad auch hier in der Straße.
Hell, if it works, it works.
Aber die Leute parken das nicht auf dem roten Teppich.
You have to admit, the Dutch are pretty disciplined about parking their bikes in clusters to take up less space. Benny showed me the biggest bike parking lot.
It looks like Thailand's motorcycle
Unsurprisingly,
parking
at
at
the
the mall.
University Library in the center of town.
Wie man hier sieht, der Uni ist hier, es gibt viele junge Leute in Groningen, es studieren viele Leute hier, die kommen ja manchmal mit dem Fahrrad, aber jeder fährt Fahrrad. Meine Mutter, sie ist 79 Jahre alt, wird im Januar 80 und fährt noch immer mit ihrem Fahrrad in die Stadt, kauft ihre Sachen in der Stadt bei den Läden, so mit dem Fahrrad.
That's so cool to see so many people on
meine Söhne 9 und
bikes.
7, die fahren auch Fahrrad in der Schule.
But the city is doing even more.
Hier an der Bahnhof, das ist natürlich eine wichtige Stelle, wo Leute mit dem Fahrrad zu dem Bahnhof kommen und dann weiterfahren im ganzen Land weiter. Und deswegen haben wir unter dieser Platz hier hinter mir ist der große
That's a massive bicycle
Fahrradparkplatz.
parking structure.
Und in den nächsten Jahren wird es eine Ausbreitung kommen. Da wird es einen Tunnel unter dem Bahnhof kommen, wo die Fahrräder zum Südseite fahren können. Und dort kommt ein neues Fahrradparkhaus für 5000 Fahrräder.
Und wenn jemand außerhalb lebt und mit dem Zug in die Stadt fährt, da kann man auch sein eigenes Auto hier, Fahrrad hier lassen.
Ja, in diesem Fahrradparkplatz kann man das Fahrrad parken. Es kostet kein Geld. Es gibt hier auch Leihräder, also OV-Feeds, die kann man auch auf dem Bahnhof mieten, wenn man dann ein Abo hat.
And there is another underground bike parking lot at the Central Grand Square. What happens where cars nonetheless meet with cyclists? Benny told us there is a special solution at the edge of town where cars become dominant.
I've never seen a place with so many bicycles, but legitimately it looks as though it is almost comparable to Thailand and their little moped-style motorcycles. That's what 80-some-odd% of the population here ride. I've definitely seen these kind of clusters that you're talking about, but I've seen them with motorcycles. It's bizarre to see them with just push bikes. Things that people in America, honestly, on the whole, we've kind of gotten away from riding bikes. There are still some people out there that do it for sport, but it's not like a everybody thing by any stretch of the imagination.
Basically, the cars all have a red light at once when cyclists all have green.
Das hier ist der Heeresstraat, das ist eine alte, wichtige Straße. Die geht zum Süden. Das ist eine wichtige Fahrradachse, wo etwa 13.000 Fahrradfahrer pro Tag kommen. An einer Seite würde man sagen, das ist ja ein totales Chaos. Wie weiß man, woher ein Fahrradfahrer fahren will?
This is ridiculous.
Aber
Not
der
just
Vorteil
chaos.
ist, Fahrradfahrer, ja, die können zusammen ja fast keine Unfälle machen. Aber die sind also getrennt von den Bussen.
Ja, warum? Weil sie sich in die Augen schauen, oder?
Ja, genau. Der Punkt ist, man achtet einander. Man schaut zu den anderen, geht er schneller, geht er langsamer, geht er rechts, geht er geradeaus. Und ja, manchmal sagen, wie ich das auch mache, sage ich, du kannst vor mich gehen.
Können wir wenn die Autos weg sind, können wir die Ampeln abschaffen?
Sicher, sicher. Wir haben Orte, wo es keine Autos mehr fahren und dann braucht man ja keine Ampel. Das ist sicher, wir haben mehrere.
Just look at
Very
this.
cool.
If you ever needed evidence that we could get rid of traffic lights entirely because they're only needed for cars, this is it. There's lots more to extol here. For instance, the safe space for pedestrians and cyclists is also good for the handicapped. Car
Very
drivers
good to be able to
behave
have a way to get
themselves
around.
and don't push their way through, probably because they are also often cyclists. And there are so many pedestrians that the city sometimes puts up arrows to make the traffic flow better. And finally, the Dutch don't rely on speed limit signage. They design roads for the speeds they want. On our last day, we went to a festival called Let's Grow. It was held at the Forum, a modern new building in the city center. The festival not only showed citizens what their town looked like and what its history was, but also what changes are planned. Hey everyone, your grand market, the one with all these buses, is going to become an open square, with buses soon also parking on the edge of the center.
Oh, wow.
Other locals gathered around this rendition of a new section of town. I can't really tell you what we're seeing here, but what amazed me was the transparency and inclusion. Does your city have events where citizens can see 3D models of plans?
Hell no.
Have you ever gone to such an
We
event?
don't even know what plans are planned unless you show up to a city hall meeting.
Groningen makes it easy for you to take part by giving you a glorious ambiance to hang out in. During the festival, you could listen to music, grab a bite to eat. Yes, I ate that, and I'm not sure what it is, but
Why
boy,
is it
was
moving?
it good. And then you could take part
I don't know
in
what that is, but I'm not
workshops
eating it
on
'cause it's moving
topics
around like it's alive.
The biosphere and what will Groningen be like when it gets hotter. Let's Grow is literally a festival about the future of Groningen. So a city whose citizens pushed against pro-car city planners half a century ago now regularly listens to what its citizens want before making new plans. But my favorite part was this exhibit on how people feel about climate change. So I talked to the two ladies behind the exhibit.
Who's behind Let's Grow? Okay.
Can we start
But
with a different question?
The thing is, Let's Grow is a festival, and we asked Let's Grow, can we be here, a part of your festival?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this, we could do this object anywhere, really.
Yeah.
But Let's Grow is all about the future and about nature and climate. So we said it's smart if we are here.
And so you are artists, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Let's Grow is a festival that is funded by the gemeente Groningen, which is the municipality.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a way to reach to citizens and talk about issues like the climate change.
Yeah.
Okay, but before you could do this, you had to ask a bunch of citizens a question, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So in January this year, during the Climate Week, we had a project together, our first collaboration.
Yeah.
And then we asked 500 citizens of the city of Groningen, what do you feel when you look into the future? Citizens said a variety of different answers and emotions, and that it was also one of our goals to show that all emotions coexist together and emotions are in constant movement. Because one day maybe I feel very scared after hearing the news of the IPCC or the climate report, and another day I might feel very hopeful. So it is also to show, okay, you're not alone in your feeling.
Let me ask you, you're
Very
the
cool.
artist. Why are you dealing with climate change in your art?
Well, currently nowadays I believe art is much more not only about aesthetics, but more about addressing societal issues and art as a means to create a conversation piece.
Yes. Getting people involved. We want to know what they feel. We want them to think about it.
I like
Because
that,
often
using your art as
people
an
haven't really
icebreaker.
thought about it, or
Start a
yeah, we met
conversation.
quite a few people who said, "Oh, I don't know," and when you stand there and talk together, people start thinking about it. That's what we want.
Are you two aware that Groningen is a leading city for cycling in the world?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For us, it's so normal to cycle, but
It's so bizarre.
for me, it's very normal to cycle. She has more difficulties with it when it's cold.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're a foreigner and you have to get used to all the cycling culture of Groningen, that takes some time.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Bulgaria.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cold in Bulgaria.
That's what she said as well, but it's not only about it being cold.
We are used to when it rains, just put on a rain jacket and just go.
You are about to witness a Dutch person not able to think of getting into a car because it is raining.
And in a lot of countries, when it rains, you don't, you move differently. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you do when it rains?
Or I'm from a very big capital city where everyone goes around with a car.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah.
I
So,
never. To go into the city, I never use the car. I wouldn't know where to park it really. My cousin came over from England. She's like, "Yeah, let's go into the city." I said, "Yeah, here's a bike." She's like, "No, I can't cycle." I said, "What? How are we going to get into the city?" She said, "We could take a bus." I said, "Oh, it'll be my first time on a bus."
Jenny Lamehouse likes to show a lot of photographs of how concentric his Dutch hometown used to be. Now everybody needs to come and see walkability. The townsfolk love to cycle whether they are young or old. Shop owners started off as skeptics, now they're sold. You know the Dutch will cycle in the cold and the pouring rain.
The songs are
It's not
epic.
a pain.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cities for People is the most walkable city in the world. Possibly. It very well might be. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely go over and show Cities for People some love. It was most certainly an interesting walk through there. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you decide to hit the dislike button, check out that other video up there. One of these guys up here. Till the next one, highly combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. All the way to the moon and back. Peace.